welcome to Good Grief, the podcast dedicated to demystifying and destigmatizing grief with compassion and humor. I'm Nikki. I'm an end-of-life doula and a grief coach in Columbus, Ohio. And today I have another special guest episode. I had the pleasure of speaking with a lovely young lady on the loss of her father, Angelina. We talked about her losses, grief, family dynamic, and what it's like to have a big, loud Italian family. Something I know nothing about. It was a beautiful conversation, and I do hope you enjoyed this episode. And without further ado, here's my conversation with Angelina. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I have a lovely guest with us this week, Angelina Posterivo. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Yay. Yeah.
Okay.
Angelina, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you are here today.
My name is Angelina. I'm 21 years old. I just recently graduated college. And I'm here today to talk about my father. I lost him. It was my junior year, so it was January 2022, so pretty recent. I lost him to pancreatic cancer. He had it for around 6 years before he left, which was a long time for him to fight. Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your dad.
He was 52. No, he was 54. Sorry, I get it mixed up. But
That's okay.
he worked at the stock exchange. He was a realtor. I feel like the best way to describe him would be like a mix of like Tony Soprano and John Candy. Like super chill, really funny guy. Kind of took over the whole room when he walked in.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's an interesting combination of two people I wouldn't ever put together.
Yeah, he was definitely interesting, very loud, funny, but a little
Oh,
like he had a little thing with everything. It was funny.
okay. I'm not going to make any assumptions based off your last name, but do you have like Italian heritage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
We're
kind of
very,
figured, but again, I don't like to make those assumptions. So,
yeah.
so did you have like that big Italian personality?
Yeah. Yeah, way too big. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was fun.
Awesome. What was your dad's name?
Dominic.
Dominic? Ah,
Hmm.
see, I should have asked that
Yeah,
first and then I would have just
Donnie,
known.
whatever. Yeah. Domenico is like his full name, but yeah,
Oh,
way gives it away.
yeah, yeah. What was it like growing up with somebody who was so big and loud and boisterous? Because my family is very much the opposite. I have no
Um,
idea what that's like.
it was fun. We ran a lot as kids. There were three of
Mhm.
us, so like we all had sports or different activities to do. So like when he was home, if he wasn't like eating, he was working usually. He was always on the phone, and like
Okay.
the phone would be as loud as he was. That's what I remember growing
Oh
up
my
a lot.
gosh.
But just it was always fun. Like it was always a little bit too much sometimes, but not really in a bad way, but like, oh my God, like shut up. Like, you know.
Dad, you're embarrassing me. God.
Yeah, usually.
Aw. Um, I'm sure he had a soft spot to him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was not that I'm grateful that everything happened, but like it kind of
Hmm.
like let that hard shell like come out, like
Yeah.
stop, which was nice.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, he was definitely like very caring. Like I have a lot of cousins. I once I was born, they all were girl cousins.
Oh
So we had
no.
a ton of little girls. He loved them all.
Oh.
Yeah, he was just the best with everyone.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, you said he had pancreatic cancer for 6 years. Wow. That's usually when you hear of specifically pancreatic, it's like quick. It's,
Yeah, so my mom's dad had it, but like right before I was born.
okay.
And he went in like 6 months. Um,
Okay.
my friends, it's not really her. I don't want to talk too much about her, but like her
Sure.
father recently got diagnosed after my dad died.
Oh my gosh.
And that like I was 15 when my dad was diagnosed. So like cancer is just cancer. Like it doesn't sound good
Right.
either way.
Right.
But he was still here and I never really
Mhm.
understood like, oh, like he did really good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how like horrible that specific one was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you said so your grandfather had pancreatic cancer as well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about that. And that was before you were born, correct?
That was before I was born. He passed away in May, so I guess he like got it in February, January, sometime around
Okay.
that.
Okay.
He was same, I mean, different people, but like loud Italian, like same kind of personality. And I know like that like changed my mom's world.
Sure.
My grandmother, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know what she was like before, but she like doesn't like any help. Like she doesn't like to like I don't know. It's just like it's very weird to see it paralleled now with my mom too.
Yeah.
Um, but I never really talked about it much with my mom until I did a documentary on mothers and daughters a little bit ago.
Okay.
And it was before my dad passed, but it was about like dealing with cancer as a mother and daughter.
Hmm.
And she was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird because like I did this with my mom, but it was this quick and
Yeah.
I was becoming like she was already a mom, but like she was pregnant too. So like
Yeah.
to imagine all those emotions at that time, like
Yeah.
a lot of respect for my mom.
Yeah, seriously. I've never had children, so I can't say I can speak to the period of being pregnant, but I've heard your hormones and emotions are kind of all over the place.
I've heard that
So,
too. Yeah.
so I can only imagine having your father being so sick and passing away and everything at
Yeah.
that time. Oh my gosh. So, how do you feel like that impacted her, the rest of her pregnancy and birth and everything?
She like I felt so bad for my mom when we were talking about it because she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like because you came up
Oh,
in such a sad time, like
oh,
because she was like that was like the first big loss for like both her
yeah.
side and my dad's side because they were super close. Like my parents got together when they were like 15, so like
Oh,
families were family, so like it was
yeah.
big for everyone. Um, and I've heard everything's very different from what it was. So
Mhm.
she was just like, yeah, like I'm really sorry. Like you probably came up like at such a difficult time and like
Oh,
we were really happy with you, but we were also so sad. So it
well,
was hard.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to me to hear. And I've heard stories before, people who have been pregnant during something traumatic like this and then going through the birth process. That is just like the most exciting and happy moment of somebody's life, but to be dealing with such a traumatic
Mhm.
grief at the same time, like how impactful that is. So yeah, hats off to her for handling all that. And then dealing with a newborn on top of it too.
Oh yeah. And I did not give her an easy time. So
Uh-oh.
like really hats off to her. Yeah.
I'm 45 and I still apologize to my mom every time I see her for being a difficult child
Yeah,
because
I
I
have a
was.
feeling that's what I'm gonna be like in 45 too.
Yeah, well, hey, we make life interesting though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, then let's talk a little bit about, I don't want to talk too much about your mom because she's not here. This is about you, but I'm a little interested to know how things were in your family dynamic when your father had his diagnosis.
Um, like it felt like not a lot had totally changed,
Okay.
oddly. Like I grew up with my parents in the home, my two brothers, and my mom's mom lived with us. She
Okay.
moved in when I was like 7. Um, and it was like pretty similar. Like we just like have nurses come in and out and like that kind of stuff, but like it didn't click. That outside family kind of like it didn't seem like anything had changed too much. Like my grandma
Okay.
was always a little sad and now she was just crying more, which made sense. Like
Oh,
that was,
yeah.
my grandfather was like not real. I don't think he really like let it sit with him till once
Okay.
my dad went. Um Yeah, like it honestly, like I didn't know much about what was going on medically with my father until I started dating someone in high school whose dad was a doctor at the hospital. So
Hmm.
there was a lot of
Okay.
stuff I don't think they wanted to tell me because I was young.
Okay.
But I would go to my
Sure.
boyfriend and I would be like, "What did your dad see?" Or like, what were they saying?" So like
Oh,
when I broke up with that kid, which was like a year before my dad passed, like I was like I had to kind of do it on my own,
yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
Um, so that was hard. And it was just like, well, he's still here. Like he's clearly fine. He might just have to live with it, not understanding like what had been happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that must have been so hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um, so did you feel a little left out of things because they weren't telling you much, or I don't know. I can't imagine how I would feel having a daughter 15 and having that going on. Like I don't know how I would respond and what I would say. So I'm just curious how you felt about all that.
I think growing up, like especially like towards the end of high school, like it was kind of more like I felt left out. But then
Hmm.
once I kind of went to college and like I had seen it before, like my friend, her senior year had a medical issue and like they did not want to tell her little sister. So like I
Hmm.
understood like why that was
Yeah.
so I like it was kind of okay. Like I
Okay.
understood and like if I really did press them, like my mom would tell me, but
Okay.
I also wanted to respect like
Yeah.
that difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. My parents are getting older now and I know
Mhm.
they have things going on and I never want to pry, but it's like I kind of want to know what's going on with my mommy
Yeah.
and daddy.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
oh.
Yeah.
So as things progressed, tell me a little bit about how things were in the last few months with your dad.
Yeah. So, um, so like the last 6 months, it's like easier to think about like in regards to like my school semester, I feel like.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good way to
Um, so like
compartmentalize.
August to like December, we'll
Mm-hmm.
say, I was supposed to go to Italy that semester.
Okay.
And we had like paid for everything. Thank God we paid for like insurance.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was August and I was about to go back to, well, I was getting ready to go. And we were down the shore, like we'd go to the beach every year. And it was with my mom's side. And she was like, we need to talk about Italy. Like the doctors called and they were like, they don't think it's the best idea for you to be out of the country for 5 months.
Okay.
Not so, and she was like, I didn't get it, but like I kind of did. I just
Yeah.
didn't yet. Um, so I canceled it and I did not want to tell him why. I just told him like COVID's bad again. Like Italy's got so many cases, like it's just better, dad. Like don't worry about it.
Yeah.
School was fun. Like I tried to it was hard, but like I tried to be a kid and like mess around
Okay.
and go out, but there was a lot of times where I would be out and like I would just be crying in the club and everyone was like, "What's wrong with her?" Like and I'd be like,
Oh.
"No, I'm fine. Like it's kind of feels good to do it here." Like
Yeah.
um so I was grateful that I could kind of do that and like my friends were just kind of like, don't mind her. Like just let her do it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um I in November I had a really horrible weird panic attack at a friend's house
Okay.
and I like froze and like I was just like he's gonna die like bad and there was
Mhm.
nothing that had come up before that other than the August stuff.
Yeah.
2 days later I got a call from my mom. He got taken off the chemo for like the last time. So I was like, oh my
Okay.
gosh, that's so weird that happened. But that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Um Went home for Thanksgiving break. He was all his friends were there. It was like midnight when I got home and I was like, why are all of your friends here? Like what's going on?
Hmm.
He was like, I don't know why they stayed so long. He went to bed. My mom was like, he's hurting. We actually have a hospital bed now for him if he wants it. I went in the room, saw a
Yeah.
hospital bed. He still didn't want
Yeah.
to sleep in it. Um, I went back to school. I did not want to go back to school, but I still went.
Yeah.
So like now it was like December, finals week, almost Christmas. Um, that went well, came home. He was in the hospital bed, and I
Yeah.
didn't really want my mom to sleep alone, so I slept with my mom.
Oh.
And that was hard. And especially like to like hear him struggle too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, oh my God, like this is not good. Like this is really
Yeah.
bad. Um, it was also hard too because there was a few conversations like that I did have with my mom in that bed where like I cried and I was scared. And like she was like, oh, like we're gonna move, like we've moved since then, like we're gonna have a new house, like don't worry, like it'll be fine. And like every once in a while, like he would wake up and be like, don't worry, like you're fine.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I didn't want you to hear
Oh.
that. So yeah. And then we got through Christmas, thankfully. Made it through New Year's. He was not good New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And then we had about like a week and a couple days of hospice. They came
Okay.
and they were like, yeah, he's only got like 24 hours. And they were, by the end of the week, they were like, we don't really know what he's waiting for. Like
Yeah.
he's still
Yeah.
here. Um,
Oh.
so he was here for a long time, like much longer
Yeah.
than they thought. But
Yeah.
November on was hard for him.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Well, it sounds like he had the kind of personality that he was going to stick it out as long as he wanted to, you know?
Well, yeah. So funny story actually. In November, he had told his friends, like, I'm off chemo, whatever. And he still worked till probably January 5th, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
So he was still going into work and talking to them. And this girl that he worked with, she was like, oh, my dad's a priest. Like, he wants to send this to you. Like, and my dad was like, I don't really want it, but whatever. Yeah. And he sent him like a book, like, that was titled like Accepting Death as It Comes to You. And my dad was like what the fuck, like why would she send this to me, and like was so
Oh,
mad at her.
wow.
They wanted to come in that last week, and like her dad came, and my
Hmm.
mom was like, okay, like we already had the priest come in, like you can leave.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like my dad was not about it whatsoever.
Okay. Okay. And
Yeah,
that's totally
it was fun.
respectable. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he did, surprisingly, we did have like our own priest come, and he didn't like that. He said some funny things, but I think we're all glad that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh goodness. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so tell us, were you there when he finally passed or no?
Hmm.
Okay,
Um, the house was, I don't know if it was the right thing to do, but there was a lot of people that wanted to see him.
sure.
So our house was kind of open to a lot of
Yeah.
people. And he went at the end of the week when it was just like me, my brothers, and my mom. And it was his parents and his sister and her husband. And I kind of feel like he wanted it to just be that. And
Okay.
yeah, and it was really interesting to watch. Like, I don't mean to say that like weird, but like it was like I'm glad I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of really beautiful to
Mhm.
see. But like I am from a very Italian family. Of course, like it's a little bit of a funny story what happened next.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I have you heard that like when well, I'm sure you have, when someone passes, like their jaw can stay open.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, everyone's like having a moment, really calm, a little like sad but calm.
Yeah.
My grandfather, and I think this was his way of like not dealing with it, but he was like, get the tie, like Chris, get the tie. And me and my mom were like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, can we check him? Like, is he gone? Like, we don't know what, like, he just, like, I think he's gone. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
They went into his closet, they pulled out a regular tie, and they tied it like this. So his jaw
Okay.
would stay shut.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it makes it a funny memory at least,
Yeah.
but it was very chaotic when it happened.
I think it would have been funnier if it was like a Christmas tie or so like a
It was
goofy
polka
tie.
dots.
Oh my
It
God.
really wasn't. I mean, like they didn't try to make it good for him.
Okay. Oh no. Well,
Yeah.
that is normal. Yeah. When you pass, obviously your muscles give out, so your jaw will kind of
Yeah,
go slack like that. So yeah, that's normal, but
he
that's
was like, I don't want anyone to break his jaw. I want to make sure he's fine. It's okay.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that was at least kind of him to think of that.
Yes, it was. It was super sweet.
Yeah. Oh. So, being the big Italian family, I'd like to hear a little bit about, did you have a wake or a memorial or some type of service for him then?
Yeah, so it was we did. We had a viewing and it was like a couple days long and then we had the big funeral at a church. But it was like in the middle of a snowstorm and like COVID was around my town really bad.
Okay.
So it was my mom was not very happy with attendance, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was big what we had.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, maybe like birthday or Christmas or something. You can have another big to do for him where more people
Yeah.
can come.
Yeah.
So, what has it been like for you and for your mom since all this?
Um, it's definitely been different. Like where we're at now, like we moved to a lot, like a smaller house.
Hmm.
It's me, my mom, and my older brother, the middle of the three. Grandma moved out. She moved in with her other kid.
Okay.
So I am actually in my grandma's room right now. Her furniture is going out soon. But
Okay.
it's like been very weird. Like we've all had to like totally readjust.
Sure.
The family dynamic, like of the outside family is different, which kind of like I think she always kind of realized that.
Hmm.
But like seeing her really like lean on her friends and like she's got really strong friendships, which is really good to see. And
Hmm.
like my whole thing is like learning a lot about the family as I get older now. And
Yeah.
it's also been like good because it's made me see like what does matter in my life. So like been able to weave through like friends a little bit easier.
Okay.
Um, but it's scary, like, because dad's like, tough guy, like, oh, I can handle it. Like I know a guy. Like it's great that we have all his guys now. Like they're my guys, which is fun.
Good.
Um, but like it everything's a little bit scarier, I feel like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, especially if he seemed to be like, the big boisterous one of the room and,
Yeah.
having that kind of anchor not there. I'm sure that's a little disrupting.
Yeah. I've definitely seen it come out in like my brothers and I a little bit more, which is like it's I think it's sweet, but I do also see like it being a problem for me in certain
Yeah.
stances.
Yeah.
Um, but like yeah, like we and like my mom too, especially like their relationship, I feel like she kind of was just like, yeah, like sure, like she'll say whatever and he was like, you have to stand up for yourself, like come on.
Hmm.
She stands up for herself way more now, which is
Okay.
really, really good to see. Yeah. Like the first like couple months it felt like me and my brothers were defending her.
Okay.
She's pretty okay now. She's fine.
Good. Well,
Um,
good.
yeah. Yes, just different.
Absolutely. Oh. So has it seemed to be like slowly kind of getting a little easier for everybody then?
Um,
It's never going to be easy. I'll just put that out there.
yeah.
No, it's never going
Yeah.
to be the same, but does it feel a little less?
I think where I'm at specifically, like I want to say like for my mom, I don't want to say anything for my mom like
That's
that. But
okay.
like my brothers, I feel like it's like they've been in it, I guess, for 2 years now, whereas I just kind of came back from like college. So
Yeah.
like I've kind of been not stable as it is up there, and now
Hmm.
that that's totally gone.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in a totally new house, which is weird because I've not really lived here yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've had it for like a year, so it's very weird.
Mhm.
It takes time, and I think
Absolutely.
everyone handles it differently. Like my grandparents, that's a different situation, I think. Like
Sure.
I don't really expect them I don't really think it'll get easier for them,
Yeah.
but life's been going, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and and you're correct. Everybody's going to handle their grief in a different way, and it's everybody suffered a different loss, you know?
Yeah.
Like if your grandparents, they lost their child, and that's one you don't ever get over. I mean, you never get
Mm-mm.
over grief, but that's a hard one for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you see things going in the future? What does the future look like for your family, do you think? I have
I
loaded question, right?
It's a super loaded question. I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow whatsoever. Um, my brother wants to move out soon, which is good.
Okay.
My oldest brother, right before my dad passed in October, he was a realtor too. He
Okay.
got him a house. So the oldest is taking care of the house and he's living his best adult life. He's
Oh,
having some
good.
kitchen problems, but he's okay. His future, I think, will be there for a little bit. I think mom and I are just gonna work until we can't. Um,
Sure.
but we found like she's in a better work situation where she's happier, and I'm finding work that makes me happy. And like
Good.
I dance a lot, and like that's kind of a good way for me to deal with it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So, thinking ahead again to the future, what are some ways you think you will honor your dad in the future?
Well, so I already got to, I like not a whole lot, but like I did a couple dances. Like I teach dance. I did a couple dances for my last dance recital that were for my dad. One was a fun hip
Oh,
hop basketball because he loved like this one basketball song. And then I did a sad piece that was like
oh.
pretty. Um, I can't say I try harder in school. I'm not in school anymore.
That's okay.
Try
I
to
was a
find it.
terrible student, so
Yeah. Yeah, going through school and like the idea of him watching how I do school was really not a fun experience. I like had already like not had fallen off like the track of like good student like sophomore year of college. I went to a liberal arts school, like
me too.
probably know what I was up to. Like it wasn't
I got a good idea.
yeah, like I wasn't going to a lot of classes, and then like once stuff with my dad happened, I was like, oh shit, like now he's like actually gonna see me. Like, no, I should try harder. Didn't last long where I was like, oh shit, I don't want him to think badly of me, which was
Yeah.
good. Which was good.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna find a job that makes me happy, and I'm gonna
Good.
grow up and I'm gonna be happy, and that's all I can do to honor him. But I
And
will keep doing art and stuff to honor him too.
good. I think
Yeah.
that's all your dad would want for you is for you to be happy.
Yeah.
So I have a good feeling that would be all he would ever ask is that you're happy.
I
So
hope. I don't know. He's tough, like you said, but yeah.
yeah. Well, good. Okay. Do you have any other stories or anything else you'd like to share about your dad before we get to our last little bit here?
Mm, I don't think so.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
that's okay. You don't have to. So I don't know if you've listened to any of my episodes, but I have a little tradition at the end of every episode where I pull a card from random from the death deck, which is just a bunch of conversation starters, ask a question, and we both get a chance to answer it. So
Okay.
I want to shuffle my cards up here and see if I can find one that I haven't read before. Okay, this one sounds fun. If you could plan your own celebration of life party, where would it take place and what would be the theme?
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Do you know off the top of your head?
Okay, well, I'll answer first and see if that helps you. Let me think.
Okay, yeah.
So, hmm, my husband and I are avid like hikers and backpackers, and we like camping. I would love to do something outside, like in the woods, although most of my friends and family are not. They don't like the idea of going out in the woods. I don't know. I'd probably find something at least at a nice park, where people could come and maybe plant a tree and just enjoy nature a little bit. I think that's what I would hope, and then let people share stories about me.
I feel like I don't know.
What about like a dance or something?
I
You know,
know
have some friends put together like a big group dance. Your family, something easy your family could do too.
a dance on like not a beach, but like not a nice island, like a crappy little private little island, I feel like would be like
Okay.
so fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and just chill at the water when you're done and just
There you
relax.
go.
Yeah.
See, I think that sounds perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Angelina, this has been a great conversation. And thank you so much for taking the time to share your story with me and with all of my listeners.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so
You're
nice.
you are so welcome. And all right, that's all. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another huge thank you to Angelina for coming on and sharing her story. I just love hearing about other people's families and stories, and hers was no exception. That was very lovely. And her father Dominic sounds like he was quite the man. So I'm glad that you got to know him. I'm glad you got to be with him in the short time you had. If you would like to see the video of our conversation, you can check that out over on patreon.com/Nikki the Death Doula. I would love to have your support. As you know, I'm trying to make all my passions my full-time job, so little support goes a long way. I would also like to say a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service. It is 100% online. So, as always, you don't have to wear pants to therapy anymore, you guys. The future's awesome. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just need to answer a couple questions about your needs and preferences, and then BetterHelp will match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel most comfortable, whether it's text, chat, phone call, video call. You can message your therapist at any time. You can schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you, and if for any reason your therapist is not the right fit, it happens. That's okay, you guys. You can switch to a new therapist at absolutely no additional charge. So with BetterHelp, you can get the same professionalism and quality that you would expect from old school in-office therapy, but with a therapist that's custom picked for you with more scheduling flexibility and at a more affordable price. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Nikki the Death Doula. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Nikki the Death Doula. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode and this conversation with Angelina. Please don't forget to follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're following me. And please leave a review. Do the star thingy and then leave some words too that say how amazing I am. I'm not just doing this to stroke my own ego. It does help the algorithm so more people can find me and more people can feel less alone in their grief. You can follow me on most of the socials. I'm Nikki the Death Doula, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and join the conversation. I post some like snippets from this podcast on all my socials so you can talk about it. Tell me what your answer to the death tech was and say hello to Angelina. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week. And as always, your grief is yours. Your feelings are valid. And grief doesn't always have to suck.